Hi everyone, hope that you are doing well. The next couple of weeks, I will review some items around the interior design process, and this will kind of serve as our wrap up for the course. This is really the last material that I would normally present to you in class before we do our final projects. However, I will kind of modify that and try to make it fun within these last 2 weeks. So with the interior design process, there is a series of steps that interior designers usually walk through when they meet with a client and they start to renovate or work on a space. It is typically a 5-step design process. Again, this is very general that all designers do use on projects they take on. Some designers will have more steps or more processes, and they may be more detailed, just depending on the design company and the scope of work that they are doing. However, again, this process that I'm going to present to you is very, very general. So as I go through these phases, I like to think of them as dating stages within the process. So you'll kind of see those in quotes on each slide. So the first phase is programming. This is also known as the first date. This is where the interior designer gets to know their client and the desires for the space that they want to design and renovate. They will ask certain questions, look at the existing furniture and space, talk budget, deadline, and they will also include a design brief, which I'll talk about in a few slides. Phase 2, the design development. This is also known as courtship, or when you start dating. The designers will start to develop plans at this stage, take a look at furniture, color schemes, paint, windows, and at this point they will sketch out ideas, maybe use SketchUp or a 3D program, and try to bring those plans to life. They may also use design boards. So design boards or mood boards are very efficient as well to convey some ideas so that the interior designer can really capture and display what their thoughts are based on what the client wants. Phase 3, construction documents and administration. This is when the designer and clients start getting serious and exclusive. They've probably already entered into some type of agreement or signed a contract that they will work with each other. But this is where the designer will present ideas to the contractor to really get some prices of the space. And sometimes it may not be, too extensive if they aren't doing anything structurally. It may just be ordering items, furniture, paint, things like that. But at this stage is where they will submit all of those orders so they can get started on the actual work. Phase 4, construction and installation. This is the engagement phase, but this is where the client will see ideas come to life. The designers will often stop by the site to check up and oversee work to make sure everything is going smoothly and properly, that things are to the client's needs and wants. And after construction, if there is any construction, the delivery of items will be installed. They'll put finishing touches, bring in all of the furniture and all of that as well. Then the last stage is project completion, or the big day, aka the wedding. This is where client and designer will do a final walkthrough to make sure everything is up to par with what they had requested. And the designer will also go over care and maintenance just to be sure they understand how to take care of everything properly so it stays in that pristine condition as when everything was designed and renovated. So in phase 1, I had talked about a design brief. A design brief is really a written summary of the project that is being planned between the interior designer and the client. It is very detailed and specific, so it's something that, after a client or a designer meets with a client, they'll kind of summarize everything to make sure that they've met all the client's wants and the designer has a clear direction of where they're going when designing that space. But the first step of creating that design brief is creating a questionnaire that covers everything that needs to be discussed with the client. So once the design brief is complete, the designer can share their inspiration and vision and create the mood board or create a SketchUp design or any other method to to make sure that they capture everything that their client wants. It is definitely the interior designer's job to guide the client through the project and make sure that they know their design style and what kind of colors that they like. But it's really that kind of test phase. So really when you present a design brief, it's really the make it or break it to whether the client will hire you as an interior designer. So for this week, a pretty simple assignment for you to do, but I would like you to come up with a questionnaire that you would ask a client that is going to potentially hire you as an interior designer. In your design brief, you have to include a minimum of 10 questions. So for instance, a couple of examples of questions that you can use. What space are you wanting to redesign? What is your design style? What colors are you interested in including? Things like that. So it can be very open-ended, just so you can get a sense of the client and what they want to do to this space. Again, it doesn't have to be too specific. You want to keep it very general, because a client could have many needs and wants, and it's going to be your job to really create a space and theme, colors, all of that, just based on these questions. So what I would like you to do is to type up your 10 questions that you would ask a client, and again, put yourself in the shoes of an interior designer, and submit those 10 questions either on Schoology or on Google Classroom.